Hi guys, how are we doing? It's a lovely day outside. The lighting is actually sort of good and I wanted to talk to you about beginner cookbooks. Now, I have quite a large collection of cookbooks and I've done a couple of videos on them before. I love to cook, I love to eat, I love to cook for other people. And I've actually spoken to quite a few people that have been like, look, I'm starting out cooking, we're stuck in the house, making bread, and I normally live off of like takeaways or whatever, or I normally go shopping for like chilled meals 2 or 3 times a week, but now I can only go once and now I can't do that. So I wanted to sort of narrow down a list of some books that I think are great places to start with, and then you can move on once you've sort of maybe got a bit of the basics, or you know what kind of thing you like. So I'm going to start where I started, and that was with How to Cook by Nigella Lawson. And this is The Pleasures and Principles of Good Food. Now, this was, I think, her first book. It was either this or Domestic Goddess was the first book. And it's full of just recipes. There's not any pictures or anything like that. It's not for the aesthetic, it's recipes. So things here from like, how do I boil pasta, to how do I make Yorkshire pudding or roast a steak or do a risotto or desserts, loads of different things. I think this is really, it's also got like a section on like low fat dinner, weekend lunch, fast food 1 and 2, which is great because some of us don't have like a family of 4 that we're cooking for, and I think that's really, it's a good thing that she's done that. She also did cooking in advance, basics, etc. And she also talks through a bit of like kitchen equipment and stuff as well. In fact, you can see here that this page is quite dog-eared and stuff because it's a recipe for a basic white loaf, which I have used so many times. And I've also used the menus as well that she has at the back, and her cake recipes, lemon ice cream, perfect plain Sunday lunch for 3, corner cut topside beef, potatoes, peas and lunch 2, rice pudding. It's not fancy. It is quite a bit of it is quite plain food that you pick up. And I was reading or listening actually to Milk Street podcast, which is Christopher Kimball's podcast. He used to be part of the America's Test Kitchen. And there was a woman who called in and she was asking, how can I teach my kids to cook? And he was saying something like, if you can master 12 recipes, then you are ahead of like 80% of the population, which is really not great when you think about it. But I think this is a really good one to start with, as I say, because it doesn't have the pressure of like the really aesthetic pictures and stuff like that. And there's not a lot in it that has ingredients you cannot get in the supermarket. It's not got a lot of specialist ingredients in it. Most of it isn't. It's all things that you can pretty much get wherever you are. She does also though have a list of stockists at the back. Bear in mind this was published a good 10-15 years ago. There are things that are in here that she talks about that at the time you could only get in specialist shops, but you can get in the supermarket now, like kimchi and stuff. Like you couldn't get that in the supermarket 10 years ago. So I really like this. It's also got a good bibliography at the back, which if you want to do any further reading, I also recommend following Nigella on Twitter, Instagram, and she has a website as well that has a lot of these recipes that you can get for free. You just have to register on the website. But I really think this is a great one to start off with. And as I say, I have had this for a long time and I've used it a lot. So I recommend it. Now, this one's a bit more recent. and it's Pinch of Nom by Kate Allison and Kay Featherstone, 100 slimming home style recipes. Now, the reason I like this one is not so much that it's slimming recipes. I mean, it was based originally off like Slimming World recipes, but the recipes in it are really easy. They're really easy, and it's things that most people in the family will eat, you know, without being totally laden with like fat and things like that. If you're wanting to keep it a bit lighter, then this is a great one to start off with. Like, they have a good recipe for shiksusa in here, chicken and Lakewood blue cheese sauce, creamy garlic chicken. Campfire stew is a really popular one that did the rounds on Facebook, and you can do that one in your slow cooker. It's really, really good. And also they have a new book out which is sort of the sequel to this, but I don't have that one. But this one also, what else we got in here? Beef ragu, and it's got like things you can bake in the oven, sloppy joes, and it's also got like recipes for like chips and dips, and it's sort of cakes and things, breakfasts. This is really good for starting off. Again, because the recipes in it are simple, they're easy to follow, they're pretty healthy. There are pictures in this one to follow as well, and also it's quite recent. It's easy to get anywhere. I think it's about £9, so it's normally on sale either in Amazon or Asda or things like that. They've normally always got a copy of it, and you know, I would recommend picking it up because there are good cheats in it. Nothing's overly complicated, but everything's really tasty. So yeah, and also as well, there is a Pinch of Nom blog and website. Again, you can get a lot of these recipes on the website or the blog without having to pay for them. So if you want to try them out before you actually purchase the book, then you can do that. I did try out like the campfire stew and stuff before I bought this. I think it's important to do that, but I do like to have physical books so that I can have them in the kitchen with me and like prop them open, because I don't like having my tablet in the kitchen because I get sticky fingers, and I'd rather just get a book sticky than a really expensive tablet. Now, as with Nigella Lawson, this is standing in for a body of work, and this is Nigel Slater. He's another British food writer who has got a wide variety of books, and this has just happened to be the one that I've got handy with me just now. It's the Christmas Chronicles, which is notes, stories, and 100 essential recipes for midwinter. Obviously, you don't have to just have them in midwinter, but Nigel Slater does talk a lot about seasonality, and if you've watched him or heard him speak, then he does a lot of recipes with seasonal produce. And I don't know what I've done with it, but I do have a book that he did on vegetables, which is really good as well. His books are always really well written. Normally one comes out about, you know, like Christmas time, and he's got some ones as well like on fast food and stuff like that as well. I like this because he tends to encourage things that you can do at home, but they are just that little bit fancier, like banana and cardamom cake. Yum. Or like you'll talk about doing like Christmas dinners, presents you can do, and also what's really nice is his writing is a bit of biography and things like that as well. So if you want to kind of read a cookbook like it's an actual book with recipes, then Nigel Slater's a great one to do. As I say, he does have like simple suppers and things like that, which I'd also recommend, but I'd say most of his books would be a good place to start once you sort of got a hang of things, and it also sort of gets you into some, you know, more unusual ingredients and recipes and things like that, so that you can kind of learn what you like. And you sort of, a lot of this is not, it's like British kind of themed cookings with a bit of like Italian and French, but I would recommend it to start with, and it'll sort of get you into the stride of things, and it just looks really nice on the shelf also. Now this one is a bit more specialty, but I love it, and I think it's great if you are sort of branching out from the like sort of basics. So the book is by Massimo Bottura and friends. He is a Michelin starred chef in Italy. He owns his own restaurant. He's also been on like Chef's Kitchen and things like that. I would love to one day eat his food in person once the lockdown lifts. But it's got other, you know, chefs you'll have heard of, like the Adria brothers from El Bulli, and also, let's see, Alex Atala and Mario Batali. You know, a lot of different people. Christina Brown, I really like her food, and it's like really simple recipes. It'll get you out of your comfort zone because it's different ways that you can cook sort of fancier meals, but it's not that bad. Like, they've got a recipe for Spanish tortilla with cold lentil salad. Do you know what I mean? It's not fancy, but it sounds so good. And conchili pasta with asparagus. You know, I think the thing that this book does really well is comes up with, it's simply cooked food, but it goes a bit more out there with the flavour combinations, which I think is good, because when you start cooking, that's the main thing I think that you sort of get to know, and that's when you can start to cook without a recipe. Once you've started to sort of, it's almost like the colour wheel of things that go together. And I think where this is good is it certainly encouraged me to be a bit more adventurous about my flavour combinations, but it's easy to cook at home, so I think this one's great. And finally, I would recommend Plenty by Yotam Ottolenghi. And this one is purely vegetarian and vegan recipes. Now, you've probably heard of Ottolenghi. He's pretty famous. He pops up on a lot of telly. He's been on the podcasts, and he does Middle Eastern food. He's also got Plenty More, Simple, and Jerusalem as well, all of which I have and all of which I like. And it's, again, simple ingredients. You know, like the most out there thing in here I think is like pomegranate molasses, but I've seen that in Morrison's, you know, so not out there. And if you like things that are a bit more, you know, like Mediterranean and things like that, you'll like it. So for example here, coconut rice with sambal and okra, lemon and aubergine risotto. There's recipes for hummus, for breads. You know, I love it. Chard and saffron omelets. And I have also made the vegetable tart, roasted vegetable tart in here like so many times. So I recommend this. This is also published, oh, it's eBay. So I recommend this. Again, it's one that once you've got the things you like down, then I would pick up this one. And what I'll probably do next is talk about my favourite books of different cuisines, and that's sort of like the more advanced level. Like, once you've got the basics down, you can then go, actually, I really like Mexican food, so I'm going to pick up a Mexican cookbook, and then you can say to yourself, right, I'm going to go online and buy like specialist chilies or something like that, because there's no point in doing any of that until you know. So yeah, that's my beginners cookbooks. If anyone wants any recommendations or advice, then please do let me know, because I love books and I love food and I love books about food. So yeah, have a good one, take care, bye.